We're live. We're live. We're live. Hi, family. How are you doing? I hope and pray that no matter where you are, that I reach you in the best of health. I pray that you and your family are doing well. I want to pray for those who have been unfortunately a victim of the tornadoes that are happening around the country. I want to just send a prayer out to you and just say, please stay safe. I am so just in the spirit of we're Christmas time. And for me, I know a lot of people, when they think of Christmas, they think that it's all about receiving. But to me, Christmas is about giving. And the holiday season is about giving. And it's not material, it's about time. It's about you and your energy and how you're uplifting or impacting other people. And so wherever you are, to say this season, let's make it about giving back in some way to the community that we serve and the people that we're around to make it a better place. I don't care if it's delivering a meal or calling somebody and encouraging them or taking somebody a coffee or just some kind gesture. Just make sure that we're out in the world doing that. And I want to say I'm so excited. I have somebody who I consider to be a mentee, my little sister, but she's a boss. She's a boss in her own right that I'm going to be bringing to this platform, and I'm going to introduce her properly in a few seconds. But before we get started, I want to make sure everybody can see me. I got a couple of eyes out there, but I'm going to do what I do every week. I go on live to Facebook just to make sure that we are actually broadcasting, and we are. Thank God for that. Let me get my little stand here for my phone. And I want to say welcome and thank you for tuning in weekly. Thank you for your support. Thank you for the emails. Thank you for just allowing me the opportunity to be what I hope is a gift to you, to inspire, uplift you. This platform was created for that sole purpose. For those of you who know me, my name is Cheryl Grant. And for those of you who don't, I'm Cheryl Grant. And welcome to Fit Live. We're here to highlight the real journeys and triumphs of individuals, professionals, and entrepreneurs from around the globe. Getting fit, FIT, is more than about a physical process. It's a roadmap for getting into mental shape, developing the faith, intuition, and tenacity necessary to propel you towards your own success, not only in business, but in life. So the question I ask, are you ready to get fit? Well, if so, you came to the right place and you came to the right people because we got something to share with you. Without further ado, I want to bring onto the platform the one, the only Miss Mecole Tate.
Hello. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can. Hi.
All right. Hi.
Mecole, how are you, darling?
I am wonderful. Thank you for having me.
Look,
And you thanked all these people for everything, but let me take the time to thank you for creating this platform so that people like me can share our stories and so that women all over the world can listen to our stories. So go you.
I love you so much. You guys, this is going to be an amazing interview. And actually, it's the last interview that we're going to be doing until the new year in the first week in January. So it just gives me an honor to have this amazing woman before you and her story and her testimony to share with you. And the reason we bring these again is to highlight, to give you an opportunity to look into someone else's life and see how they have journeyed through and the obstacles that they've overcome in hopes to give you inspiration to live your best life. So without further ado, because we only have an hour and I want to make sure we get the most, but I'm going to ask you this. Chime into the conversation, ask questions. That's what gives it the richness. Make sure you are having a dialogue with us. Let's take advantage of this amazing, amazing woman whom I've known, I feel like a lifetime, and it hasn't been, but I feel that. But take advantage of the things that she has to share. Tag a friend. Listen, information is power, but it's only powerful when you use it. So grab a notepad, grab a pen, take notes, because we're going to have some things to share. Call somebody, talk to somebody, ask them to come in and join the conversation. So I'm going to read her bio because I think it's really important. I can tell you, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to tell you all about her, but y'all know I need my glasses to see. So here it goes. I'm going to read Mecole's bio. Mecole Tate is a first-generation college student and Bay Area native. She has worked in human resources for public agencies in the Bay Area, most recently as a labor relations analyst for the Alameda County Human Resources Department. With the goal of diversifying the legal field and providing better access to legal services for low-income communities, Mecole left her career and went back to school to become an attorney. Oh my, that needs a hand clap all by itself. Currently, she is in a third-year law student at UC Hastings Law, where she is a member of the Thurston Society and Honor Society and serves on the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Working Group and is the third 3L class president. Additionally, she volunteers for the nonprofit Level Bar, mentoring underrepresented college students interested in attending law school, helping with personal statements, testing strategies, assisting through the application process. In the fall of 2022, she will be joining Morgan Lewis in their labor and employment group, pending her admission to the California bar. I want to say, without further ado, let me introduce to you my girl, my sister, my friend, Mecole Tate. Welcome.
Thank you. I feel like I need some Beyonce music or something.
I am so proud of you. When you guys hear her testimony, you might as well grab a tissue or piece of paper. But don't worry, because it's not that. It totally ends in a celebration of some champagne, like she said, some Beyonce music, because she truly is that child. So before we get started, Mecole, I got a question to ask you. I got a question. Mecole, what are you passionate about?
Oh, man. I'm passionate about finding my purpose. I'm passionate about helping people find their purpose and just being their best selves. Like, I feel like, you know, I've done it. I'm guilty of it, holding myself back, being in this battle with my mind about what I can't do and telling myself what I can't do and giving myself all the reasons why. So I'm really passionate about overcoming that and helping other people see, like, you can't believe everything you think. And a lot of the times it's the things that we're thinking that are holding us back. And so that's one of the things I'm really passionate about. The other thing is, of course, our youth. Black youth in particular, Black women, Black men, our youth that are growing up to be the next generation of Black men and women, Black fathers and mothers, Black grandmothers and grandfathers. Like, my generation, we're the next matriarchs, and we have to make sure that we are, you know, cutting some of these generational curses that have been cursing us for generations, right? So those are the main things that I'm passionate about. And, you know, I'm still learning along the way. I still have a long way to go, but I realize that I have a lot to share as I'm on the journey.
Oh my God, Mecole, you just said a mouthful there. You said you can't believe everything you think. And I want to say, and I want to really just say to the audience right now that there are things that we've been taught that may not necessarily be the truth. And along with that, in our experiences, we add to it maybe the very blockages that are stopping you from being your best self. And I'm going to tell you exactly how. Now, Mecole, you know what? You and I had a conversation. So first of all, let me tell you, I have some history with Mecole. When I went on my journey to become Miss Olympia, Mecole was a part of the Dream Team under Coach D with Tamra, Dr. Rashida, and with Gigi Sagment. And we were truly a core. If it wasn't for them, I couldn't have done the work. And I mean that. We became sisters through this journey. I didn't know them before. It's like we all lined up at the same time. But I can remember Mecole back then just saying, you know, my job isn't fulfilling. It's not feeding my soul. I've always wanted to be a lawyer. And she kept saying it over and over again. I want to be a lawyer. I want to be a lawyer. And the fact that she's now she's literally in the spring of next year, which is less than 4 or 5 months, Mecole will be an attorney. She is living her dream. But wait a minute. It didn't start there. So, Mecole, without putting you on the spot, I think it's really important to highlight where you started and how you got to where you are. And I know that your journey was not an easy one. And I'd like you to tell the story a little bit about your growing up, Mecole growing up, because there's a lot of people out there that, we didn't always have the perfect environment, Mecole, in terms to flourish. And I know I can attest to that. I mean, my parents were amazing, but there was a lot of things that were lacking. I have my own story, but yours I find very unique. Can you share your journey, a little bit about your journey and the insight where you started as a young girl?
Sure. And feel free if I'm leaving something out, since you know my story so well, just jump in and say, what about this? And you know what? It's always, whenever I'm asked that, I'm always a little hesitant on where to start, because it's just been so much. But what I will share is, I didn't grow up with either of my parents. I grew up with my grandmother, who was already pretty much elderly when I started to live with her. My mom fell victim to, the drugs of the 80s, and not really sure what my father's excuse was, but that's okay. People are forgiven.
There you go.
And so I grew up kind of, just figuring my way around. I was always really smart in school, so I knew, okay, this is one place I could do well. I could just do well in school. It's fine. That's good. But I mean, I ended up, on the wrong path, had my first child in high school. I was a senior in high school and had my first child. I'm gonna go ahead and call out Lowell High School, because they wanted to kick me out because they didn't want a pregnant girl at their school. And they wanted to send me to, there was a pregnant school that everybody went to. And I was like, I'm not going to the pregnant school. I'm graduating from here. I've been here all this time. So that was one of the first instances that I can recall, like having to advocate for myself, because I didn't have a parent or anybody to go up there and be like, no, she's going to stay here. So I had to do the advocating for myself, and ended up staying, graduating on time. I had my daughter in March and graduated in June. But even that was a journey. I went to school from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. to make sure that I had enough credits to graduate on time while pregnant. And I was 18. I think when I think back now that I have kids that age, God had me. Really. And then, gosh, so much has happened. Where do I go next with this? I always knew that I wanted to be an attorney. I didn't know what kind of attorney. All I knew back then was I wanted to help my brothers. So I think I wanted to be a public defender. And that's always what I thought. I guess I thought that was the only type of lawyer that I could be, back then. Where I want to move with this.
Well, I think that one of the things I want to say to you is, if we just pause right there.
Okay.
When you're listening to her, did you hear how she started her journey and where she is today? And I just want to tie it back in that sometimes where you are is not where your destiny. Where you are right now is just a reflection of what you decide to create. Mm-hmm. In that moment, she could have fell victim. And in that moment, she could have said, when, you know what, I didn't have the structure, I didn't have the support, but she advocated for herself. And I just want to say to some people out there, sometimes that's what we have to do. There's not always going to be somebody there to cheer you on. I can definitely tell you, as a part of my journey, she was there to cheer me on. And so was my entire dream team. And it's beautiful when you have that structure in place, but not everybody does. And the beauty about it is that she didn't allow not having a mother or a father there. Her grandmother's already in, she's an elder. So, and she's later in life taking care of her granddaughter. She grew up in the church. I know that. A lot of times that's where she was left, is in the church. And she was in a job where she didn't want to. And Mecole, you decided to step out on faith. And I want to say to you, for that alone, winning, 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 winning. And her daughters, oh, can we brag on them for a minute? Can we brag on them for a minute? Go ahead.
They're amazing. They're amazing girls too. But I want to go back to what you said about like you're not. I didn't have any structure, and you know, like I said, I could have just fell down like a lot. I've seen a lot of my peers. A lot of my peers aren't doing well right now, and I think it's because we grew up without structure. But for me, it was always my motivation because I was like, I don't want to be anything like what my mom was. Like, whatever I have to do to not be that, that's what I'm going to do. And then having a child so young, it also made me want to make sure, especially a daughter, like, I didn't want her, actually, by the time I was 21, I had two. I didn't want them to fall victim to the things that I had growing up without a parent. So now they probably think I'm a super overbearing mom. But I think it's important, like the things that we grow up with, the things that we grow up hearing, those I love yous, those hugs, those like you did a great job, those are really important. And I didn't have that. So I wanted to make sure that I was the type of mom that gave that to my kids so they know that they can come to me for that little extra push when they needed it.
And you were doing that. And both of our kids are amazing. And they're thriving and they are doing amazing things in the world. Traveling the country, that's another one of Mecole's passions. I can remember Mecole is a traveler. Like at nature, she will drop a heartbeat and Mecole is gone. But I remember when you went to Iceland, and I'm like, why do you want to go to Iceland? But I remember that experience and you going, and that goes back again to this platform is all about talking about faith, intuition, and tenacity. And you have demonstrated that just right now in everything that you've done. But I want to shift gears, Mecole, if you don't mind. Can I shift gears?
Let's do it.
We had a real conversation the other day about anxiety. And one of the things I love is that we live in a world that sometimes have things be so superficial. You know, like we have social media, we can put filters on things to make yourself look, we can get dressed up and put lipstick and makeup on. But sometimes there's things that are going on internally that we're not addressing. And you feel a need to be perfect because you're always living up to somebody else's standards that you're seeing on social media that, you know, the imposter syndrome, maybe I'm not good enough, or maybe I'm not that good. And we talked about anxiety. And I know a lot of, especially the younger generation too, and I think older too, are dealing with that. And one of the things I loved about you, and we talk about mental health, is that people take it for granted. Like it's just a given. And we are all struggling in this new world. We're all struggling to find our way in this new digital world where inflation is high, it costs money to do everything. And one of the things I love about you, and not just about the inflation, but just you and your journey, is Mecole. Mental health. Mental health. It's a huge
mental health.
One of the things I know about you since day one that you've always shared, that you have a therapist.
I do. And I love her. And everyone should have one. I say that, but I also know that access is not easy. So I'm going to go ahead and put that out there. It's important. Originally, I've had my therapist for 12 or 13 years. And originally I went to her because I was having a breakdown. My kids were young. I was working full time. I was taking care of two kids. And I was getting my bachelor's degree, going to school at night. And I just had a breakdown and was like, I can't do all this. And that first meeting with her, I was just like, I can't do this. I can't. And she was like, it sounds like you're just tired. Because I was also in an emotionally abusive relationship where he called me lazy. So I went to her and was like, I'm lazy. And she was like, wait, you're taking care of two kids. You're working. You're going to school. Sounds like you're just tired. And it's just like, sometimes you just need to hear that, right?
Oh my God, is that not a concept? Tired.
Tired. I'm just tired. I'm doing a lot. Right. So ever since then, like, you know, I think that's where kind of not having a mom, not having someone really present to just give you another view. Again, I grew up in my head. So everything I knew was what I thought. It's like nobody was there to tell me anything different. So to have someone objectively come in and say, no, this is what I'm seeing from the outside in, like that's invaluable. And that's what she's been able to do from then, first we dealt with some of my childhood trauma, and now we're at the point where we're just dealing with little things that come up and helping me like remove any last barriers that are stopping me from like fulfilling my dreams and goals. And so I definitely recommend it. I know access is hard. I really hate how in this country we're so focused on physical health, but really physical health starts with mental health. A lot of the things that are going on with us are because of stress, or because we're not dealing with things, or we're holding things in. So yeah, mental health is super important. And one thing I want to share, because you talked, unless you want to take a pause, because I know I could just keep going and going and
No,
going.
go, girl.
Okay.
This is it. So go. No, you're good.
Just specifically about two things. One thing is finding a therapist is difficult. So I think as far as this platform goes, like if you have any Black therapists are listening, like call Cheryl, because it's really hard for people to find Black therapists. And I was lucky enough to find one, because there's less that you have to explain when you're in there, when you have someone who identifies with you. The other thing I was going to talk about the anxiety, because I didn't know until 2 years ago that I had anxiety. I had no clue. So just so we're clear what anxiety feels like, it feels like that fight or flight. It feels like, if you're coming around the corner and someone maybe scares you, and that feeling you have in there, like where maybe your heart's beating fast or you're breathing really shallowly, like that's anxiety. So I would get that over little things. I would feel that. And I didn't know that it was a thing until I went, my law school sent me for some testing for what is it called? Learning disability testing, right? And so that was part of it. And what I learned was like, it stemmed from childhood. I was always in fight or flight mode because when I was a child, I was left home alone and I had to like figure out what I'm going to do. What am I going to eat? Where is somebody? So that stuck with me all the way up until being an adult. And so I think that we just don't know what we have sitting with us until we start paying attention to it, we start looking for it, and then we start to heal it. And then once we deal with our wounds, right, then we have to deal with our scars that came from the wounds, and that's where the therapy comes in. So it's all very important.
Well, the thing that I appreciate most about you is your willingness to discuss it, because I think we all walk around, we talk about imposter syndrome like we're perfect and the world's okay, and it's not. And I love the fact that you also brought up having a Black therapist, because I think that there's some people that I think that there is a thought process that doesn't understand as Black women. We don't want to have to justify why we feel the way we feel. And sometimes when you're a Black woman, it's much easier to identify. You understand our struggles because you've either experienced them or someone in your family's experienced them. So there's not this thing that we got to convince you of some stuff, or either get to a place where we can find a common ground so that you can truly help us to heal and get to the next space. And I think so often, even with the problem within corporations, is that there's nobody for us to look up that looks like us. So when you look at a hierarchy and it's all white, or it doesn't have people that look like you, and that's why I think this platform is so valuable, is because it's for women of color and Black women, but because we understand, I don't have to explain certain things to you. You automatically get it from me. And I'm telling you, you guys, we had a truth serum the other day, and I was having problems sleeping, and I didn't know what was causing it. I just couldn't sleep. But I would wake up extremely exhausted on the inside. And that's that fight or flight. And we started having an open conversation as a group of women, Black women. And it was so powerful because they started to confirm for me, like, yeah, I get that too, Cheryl. And they had some advice for me too. They told me in the middle of the night when I can't sleep, get up, write it down, journal it. Cheryl, get it out your head. Get it out your head and get it on paper. And for me, it was almost it was like a balloon and you took a pin to it and it just let the air out for me. And that night I went home and slept. And I said, but that was because you guys gave me permission. And it wasn't that I had to show up some way perfect for you. And I could be open like, you guys, I'm struggling with this. And then you started talking about, well, oh yeah, sure, I have a therapist. I'm like, well, beautiful, right? Because then it becomes a conversation that can help us transcend and we don't stay stuck. And the goal is for none of us to stay stuck. I believe in this, Mecole, and I know you do too. And that's one of the things I love about you. I love about you. I'm not competing with her. She's my little sister. I want her to win too. I want her to win too. And we come from that mindset and we like being around people with that mindset. I'm not here to compete with you. I'm here to uplift you. I'm here to tell you the butt naked truth, as my mama would say, so that you could be your best self. Because right now in the world that we live in, there's enough out there that we have to fight with. That with this community, we don't need none of that.
Exactly. And the reality is, we can't compete with each other. You have your special gift. I have my special gift. If you shine, that doesn't take my gift away. And if I shine, that doesn't take your gift away. Like, I just hate that us as Black women compete with each other or try to compete with each other so much or put each other down. Like, I'm not with that. And you know that. Like, I'm not here for it.
We don't even have conversations like that. Like, we don't have conversations like that. And I think, Mecole, really on behalf of us, I really like to say, because I've really been doing some like internal work. And I think it's been a system that has set it up that way. And it's like when you started the conversation off in the beginning, you said, don't believe everything you think. Like, your thoughts don't always working for you. So you got to be aware of what you're thinking. And there's a term for it, the stinking thinking. And it keeps you small. It keeps you captive. It's never anybody's I want to say this carefully. The only person that's going to advocate for you is you. It's never anybody's responsibility, but as a community, when we join in forces, we create a synergy that can break through any barrier. I hope I said that, because it's up to you and it's up to me. When I went on the fitness journey, I had to do the work. Even though we showed up every day, my commitment to it was different than maybe somebody else's, but it didn't matter. We all supported each other on the journey. And that's where we are now. And I thank you for being honest about not only your life, but your life's journey, because some people don't even want to tell their story, Mecole.
Yeah, I hear that.
And you opened up like day one. And I hear you say it now so effortlessly that it's not you. It's like you're telling a story about something that like is out there that happened, not something in here, although I know you had to go through that to get there.
Yeah.
So thank you.
And I'm able to do that now because like our story is our story. When you think about it, the things that you went through, they're just facts. It's not like, I don't know, people judge people for their past and all that. It's just facts. This is what happened to me. This is what I went through. It's a fact. So I'm not trying to hide that. It doesn't make me who I am. Actually, it does make me who I am today, but it doesn't mean that I'm still stuck there, or no. If anything, it just proves how resilient I am. It's the reason why I'm sitting here right now, is because I had this story. I mean, and it sounds like, the test is the testimony, but that is so true. Like, if I had this great life growing up and now I'm becoming an attorney, okay, I had everything in place for me to be able to do that. What's great about that? Why do I need to listen to you? What can you tell me? Like, no, I can tell you how to start from nowhere. That's what I can tell you. I can tell you to keep going when everything looks like it's not going to happen. Like when you're going to school with people, your kids' age, but it's okay. It's okay. It's like I'm planning to die with memories and not regrets. So I don't care what age I am. I'm doing it.
There you go. And like your past doesn't define you. It doesn't define you. It refines you. It doesn't define you. It refines you. If you will give it the opportunity and give it the opportunity from this perspective, every obstacle that you face is a stepping stone. It's not your captive. You're not captive in that space. It's a stepping stone for you to step into something greater. And the more we connect with each other, the more powerful that story becomes. And the one thing I know, and Mecole and I go, like I said, we've been on this journey for a while, and I love having her as a part of what I call my tribe, because it's a space where I can go and I don't have to be anybody other than who I am. And she truly allows me to be who I am. And that's such a freeing gift. I don't have to come and act like I'm everybody else because I'm not. I'm Cheryl. I got to be Cheryl. And the thing is, I allow her to be her. And she has just been such a blessing to me. And this journey I want to share because, see, it doesn't just start there. She talked about her childhood and she talked about overcoming obstacles as a child, like a little girl, a baby, when her mama wasn't there. And she had to figure out at 3 years old how to get from one place to the other. And nobody was there to tell her how to do that, but the grace of God. Like, that's a story. That's a story for somebody out there listening today. But it gets better. When she decided to go to law school, Mecole, share with them when you first entered law school. Do you mind sharing the journey? And this is about you when you first started studying and being able to retain the information, and you ended up learning some things that you didn't even know about yourself. Can you share that?
Sure. So I don't know if anybody's listening who's been to law school, but it is nothing like any other school you've ever done. So, I made it through school. I made it through undergrad. I even, went through a graduate program and everything was fine. But when I got to law school and you're just reading so much information, and I found myself not being able to retain it, not being able to even focus long enough to read it. And so that's when I said earlier, the school sent me for testing, and I found out I have some issues of why I'm not retaining this information. Some of the things are ADD, which is really common, and it's okay. I mean, I'm an open book, so I'm just going to share it all. Also, post-traumatic stress disorder, that's a thing from the trauma as a childhood, that will stop you in your learning now, in your decision making now. So very important that we just focus on these things. So I thank God that I actually ended up going to law school. I would have never known that. And now, have my therapist. We're working on it. Working on some of the things that were left out. But another reason, and now that I got the help that I need, I'm doing really well in law school. I don't know, people in law school are weird. They don't like to talk about how they're doing it. Damn that. I'm in the top 10% and I'm really proud of it. And so there it is. And I think it's, again, recognizing that I needed help, going and asking for it, then accepting it, and then doing something about it, which is a whole process in itself. Some people don't want to go. Some people don't want to admit. Some people don't want to accept. There's a lot of ways we can count yourself out of the process. So just keep going.
So you're speaking very much about life and where we are today. And I want to say to anybody out there listening, whether you listen today or tomorrow or next week, that there's some major gems being shared with you today about overcoming obstacles. I think sometimes, Mecole, when we're faced with them, we take them on as they're going to be with us forever. Mm-hmm. And we take them on as this is me and I'm stuck. And actually that mindset will keep you stuck. And one of the things you just said, ask. And then you said, receive. What was it? Ask, receive. What were the three things you just said?
Oh, Lord, I don't know. That wasn't written down. I said I asked, I received it, I accepted it, and then I did something about it. But I had a better word earlier.
And that's the key. And one of the things I'm going to tell you what you just said is about, everything is about energy. And it's about being in motion. What are you telling yourselves? And I just say to anybody out there that's struggling with anything, I truly believe in the word. And I truly believe that all things are possible for those that believe. I truly believe in our ability to transcend any obstacle that's been put before us. The only person that's holding us back is us. The question is, what are you going to do about it? How do you accept that? And then you take the stepping stone to living your best life. And Mecole, you have done that time and time again. And you continue to do it. I've watched you in so many areas we're not even talking about that. I've watched her transcend. And I think I know it's a part of your thinking process. Faith is the ability to believe in the unseen. Faith, you got to have faith. You got to believe it. If you don't believe it, you can't receive it. That's just a fact. Thank you, Shonda, for chiming in. Shonda says, I have a hard time retaining info Mecole, how did you manage to retain the information in law school? Thank you for joining the conversation, girl.
Yes, thank you, Shonda. That's my girl, one of my besties.
Yeah.
So yeah, okay. So here's another thing when we're talking about the testing that I went through. So learning styles, like schools do not tailor. I don't know what they do now. Anyway, schools do not tailor learning to learning style. So the one thing I learned was I learned by doing. So sitting reading, I could read all day and wouldn't be able to recite back 2 sentences. So you have to figure out like what your learning style is. Do you learn best by watching something? Do you learn best by doing? Do you learn best by reading? Like there's different ways. And I think, you know, the correct terms are like audible learners, whatever. So find that out. And then that's how you begin to figure out what works best for you. And like I said, I understand that I learned by doing. So I would associate whatever I'm learning with like something in real life. Like for example, right now I'm studying real property. So I would like, oh, I've bought houses. I understand how this goes. I'd have to relate it to a real life situation to help me remember the rules that are involved with each thing. So something like that. But like I said, going back to asking for that help, like how do I figure out my learning styles? Do people even know they have learning styles? Like this is good information for us and for our kids. So that's what I would say. Hey, Carol.
Well, thank you. No, and thank you for that. Because that tells you that there is help for you. You just have to go find the right resource to help you to attain your goal. And one of the things we aim to do on this platform is create those resources. So when I bring these amazing guests on board to talk to you, they're here to help you. We're not here just to have general conversation for the sake to have conversation. We're here to have conversation that was going to uplift, empower, inspire you to be better at whatever it is you choose to do in your life. And I'm just loving the conversation because it's so enriching for me, because believe it or not, I learn every time I have these conversations. And there's some things I already know, and there's things that are a reminder to me. And what you're saying right now, Mecole, is your ability to understand that when you're having a difficulty, do you know how to ask? Do you know how to ask for help? Or do you just sit in your difficulty and you repeat in your own head about your difficulty and you don't seek the help? So I really want to encourage those out there that there are resources for you. And this platform is one. I've had a load. And matter of fact, I'm going to put Black therapists on, but I know a few. I know quite a few that I will bring on the platform that can give you anecdotal ways for you to not survive. My beautiful, 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 beautiful melanated women in the world. We're about to enter 2022, and I don't know about you, but I'm going to tell you about me. And I see 2022 as an opportunity for us to thrive, not survive. We've been surviving for 300 plus years. We've been going through it, and we all got a testimony and story to tell to it. We don't need to convince anybody else about our struggles. If they don't get it, we can't help them. my uncle used to tell me, for those who understand, there's no explanation necessary. For those who understand, there's no explanation necessary. For those who don't understand, there's no explanation possible. Of the last 300 years of what we've been going through, if people don't get it, I don't know what to say about racism. I don't know how to help you understand that it's a real thing. Right. I know my experience and I'm not explaining anymore. I'm done with that conversation. What I'm here to do is let's move the needle. And how do we thrive as a community? And this queen right here is giving you raw data in which to do it. I want to say, please continue to ask questions. Got her here. We got her time. And y'all don't understand. It wasn't easy getting Mecole. Mecole is a law student. She is a mother. She's traveling around the country. She's trying to do her thing. Me getting her on this platform, it's been a year in the working. So I just want you to know it just didn't start here. So the fact that I have her, I'm just like, I'm so excited. And it's not because she didn't want to. She has to balance. And I respect that and I understand that. So I fit in where I get in where I fit in. I'm pretty persistent.
You know I love you. That actually brings up something though that I think I've been really good at which is, I mean, this doesn't pertain to you necessarily, but it made me think about like boundary setting. I know that's another thing that Black women struggle with, is like wanting to take care of people or be there for everybody and anybody. Like, you got to be there for yourself. Like, you have to take care of yourself, self care. Like, you can't take care of anybody else if you're not taking care of yourself. That's it.
I love that, Mecole, and you're right. We do got to set boundaries, and we have to learn that yes shouldn't be our first answer. Sometimes it's no, and it's okay.
And no doesn't need an explanation. It could just be no.
Oh my God. You know who was really good at that? Was Sheeta.
She was so good. No.
Did you work out? No. Did you work with Sheeta? Yes. No explanation is necessary. Oh my God. I appreciate you, my beautiful queen, for chiming in, asking a question. And it's Nefertiti. Nefertiti's beautiful name, and you look amazing. I love your braids. What would you say has been your biggest sacrifice and challenge in achieving your goals? Thank you, Queen. That's a good one.
Thank you. Another friend of mine who's graduating from Berkeley on Saturday, by the way.
Oh
yes. Mother of four, another great struggle story. But
I love it.
Biggest sacrifice. Gosh, it would be the younger years of my kids. Like, knowing that eventually I wanted to go to law school, like that time when I was working and had them and going to school, and not realizing that those were years that they probably needed me home. But again, that's something I told myself, right? So what I've learned in therapy was like, don't just, when you tell yourself something, check it out. Like, if you can check it out, check it out. So I've actually asked my kids, like, how did you feel about that? Like, and they're like, we don't care. Like, everything's fine. Like, we feel like you were there. We feel like you did what you need to do. So it's good to, another example of like, your mind, just don't believe everything you think, because it's not necessarily true. Anytime you have an opportunity to like check something out, just ask the question. Like, don't assume something. Like, sure, I want to assume something about you. I just ask you, like, hey, what's up? Why you ain't called me? What's going on?
And don't assume, right? Don't assume.
Or if you're going to assume, check it out. Like, you can just ask the question and then figure out that you probably made that up.
I love that.
When I say
I need to practice.
Something I like to say about worrying. Worrying is us using our imagination to create things that will never happen. We're just worrying for nothing.
Wow.
For nothing.
Well, and also we know that we are taught that be anxious for nothing. Be anxious for nothing. Don't worry
That's
about
right.
anything. And most of the stuff that we worry about never comes to fruition anyway. It's really a space that you're using your energy that goes back to that stinking thinking. You're worrying and you're caught up with something. And energetically, one of the things that I have found anecdotal for me is when I get into action. When I sit on something, like literally sit, not unless I'm in meditation mode where I'm trying to clear my thoughts, but if I'm sitting there just regurgitating that thought over and over again, that will give anybody anxiety. That will give anybody a heartburn, hopefully not a heart attack, but it definitely will reside. And stress is a real thing, you guys. It's a real thing. So we have to manage that by making sure that we balance our thoughts. And that's why I'm a firm believer in meditation and prayer in the morning. Like, I need to start my day from a perspective of I'm setting the day. I'm not allowing the day to set itself for me. Now, I might go in a different direction in the day than I anticipated, but as long as I stay grounded, it's always a reflection on that. As long as I stay grounded, that I can stay on focus and I can stay on purpose. And when I'm not, it goes back to what you just said, Mecole. Check it out. Ask another question. Ask yourself another question. Are you on track? Are you spending time doing social media? Are you like looking at other people's stories? Are you really being productive? Are you getting the thing that you need to get done? Are you want to write that book? Are you spending every day just writing some pages down? Are you want that job? Did you go check out the school? Did you Go see like what school you potentially want to go to. Are you moving in that direction?
Yeah.
In that
Yeah.
general direction? And if you are, then I say keep it up and expand
Right.
more on networks like this so you can get the most.
Right.
Oh,
Like, where are you putting your energy? Like,
yes.
are you putting your energy into the things that you say that you want?
Or are you just saying?
Or are you just saying, or do you really not believe you can have the things you want? I think that's what what a big problem can be too. Yeah. I'm a big believer in lists. Like, I usually write a list every morning of like something that I need to get done. I don't always get everything done, but it'll be there the next day and in my face when I didn't do it. But it's like a more tangible way to, kind of measure against yourself, like, what is it that I want? And I'm a firm believer in like journaling, writing, because you have to, like, I have journals and I'll go back like 2-3 years and I'll be like, I was saying the same thing I'm saying now. Like, it's time. Maybe this should be my focus right now in life. But it's interesting.
So with you. One of my biggest thing is we can talk about whatever we want to talk about, but let's not talk about the same thing next year. If we're gonna get in shape, Mecole, we're gonna get in shape. But we're gonna talk about in shape and then
That's this year again.
yes, like no, that's what
No,
we're
no,
not.
no. But see, we get in shape. We just get back out of shape. Then we got to get in shape again.
But that's
That'd
okay.
be the problem.
Life is a continuum. I'd rather be on the circular direction of always maintaining than to totally 150% fall off. And it's a great feeling when you. And Mecole is one of my workout partners, so she already knows. How do you find work-life balance?
Whew, that's still a struggle. Right now, I don't have to because I'm in school. School's a wonderful break from work. Um, but again, I think it's about setting those boundaries that we talked about, being clear about what you're willing to do and what you're not willing to do. Like, if you're not willing to stay past 5 o'clock or whatever it is that your job requires, like, let them know and do what you need to do within the bounds of those hours and let them know that. And that's true with anything else in life in general. Maybe you're taking on too much and you need to like let some stuff go, but that's only you would know that, right? You need to sit down and get clear about what you want, where you want your life to go, and what steps you need to take to get there. And that is the only way. I don't know. Like I said, I'm visual. So if a list is not in front of me, then everything seems so abstract and like all over the place. But when it's just in a list, it's like, oh, this is what I need to do. So when something else comes along, it's like, wait, this doesn't fit into this because this is what I wanted to do. And that's how I know, okay, yeah, no, I can't do that.
Right.
So hopefully that's helpful.
I got a different spin on that.
Okay, let's go for it.
No, but no. It's in addition to everything you said. It's not opposed to everything. It's in addition because I really do believe that you do need boundaries and you need to understand let your yes be yes, but let your no be no. And make sure that every day, because I get pulled in so many different directions. If I followed every direction that somebody was trying to pull me in, I would never get anything done. It's enough just managing what I do every day. But I want to say that I don't know that there's a such thing as work-life balance. I think that goes back to our thinking process. And I think it goes back to one of the things that we got to first always take care of is ourselves. I don't care at all, by all means necessary. So work-life balance, if work is taking more of a precedence than your health, that's a problem. And there's other jobs. Never feel that the job that you have is the only job you can have. Don't buy into that myth. Don't buy in that you have to be in a toxic environment where people treat you like crap and don't value you. Don't buy into that myth. Don't buy into you got to be in a relationship where somebody demeans you or breaks you down or makes you feel less than the woman that God created you to be. Don't. I encourage you to dispel of that belief and surround yourself with people like Mecole and like her community where you're breathing life and they're going to speak to you and say, girl, you've been talking a long time about going back to law school. When you going to go? Or girl, you know what? You've been talking a long time about getting in physical shape. When are you going to do it? Start having real meaningful conversations that are going to propel you to where you say you want to go. Conversations that are limiting, that also speak to your limitations, are keeping you small. They say if you're the smartest person in the room, you're probably in the wrong room. You want to get around people who have done it. And your work-life balance comes from what are your goals? And there are going to be some days where there's not going to be balance. There's just some days I have a fitness goal. I want to enter the fitness competition again. I've been there before. I know the level of commitment that it's going to take mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. If my mind ain't in the game, is not in the game, I'm not going to achieve the goal. So if you get fit, mentally fit first, then you start to eliminate those things that are not supposed to be on your plate. So instead of trying to keep everything on your plate, you start to eliminate what's not supposed, because some things need to be said no to.
Some people.
Yeah. And some situations and some things need to be said. But you yourself need to take care of yourself. And when I say take care of yourself, I don't know how you feel about this, Mecole, but like, I know you're a traveler, right? And I know every people get their rejuvenation from many different things. Taking care of yourself to me is, this is not like getting your nails done, getting your hair done, those are all niceties. When I say take care of yourself, I'm talking about your spiritual self. I'm talking about taking care of your soul, because when that's right, all other things will be right. When you walk in a room, you can claim it because you know who you are and you know what you're going to take and you know what you're not going to take. Tell me if that answered your question, girl. Tell me if that answered your question.
I'm sure it did. It just helped me out.
So, Mecole, I'm loving this conversation for so many reasons, because I know, and from the perspective of knowing you, I love authenticity. And I can't say everybody who's been on this platform has been amazing, but I know you, and I love the authenticity. I love the rawness. I love your willingness to be able to speak your truth. I think we know her.
Hello.
Hey, Coach. Hey, we love you. Happy birthday, girlfriend. Happy birthday. But I thank you, Queen, for validating me. But I want to validate you too. And congratulations to you. And in this community, what we are about is uplifting each other. And what we're about is encouraging each other. And if you don't have that space, join me. My goal is to reach 50 million women. And I'm pulling Mecole and everybody else that I know into the circle. And I can't do it alone. I'm going to need as much help as I can possibly get. So I want to encourage you to please join me. And anything I can do to support you, know that I'm here. Anything I can offer to support you. We have been in position to help people on so many different levels, whether it be get a job, whether it be getting the right skill set, whether it be getting coaching or mentoring, whether it be being able to get mental health and talking to somebody, or connecting the dots. That's what we do. At the top, you'll see that's my technology company. It's called Connect Dots. That's what we're here for. And I want to leave a legacy. I don't want to leave this life knowing that I just helped myself. I want to impact as many women as I possibly can, encourage them and uplift them. So thank you for joining the community. And thank you, Coach D, for the happy birthday. I love you too. So Mecole, one of the things I want to say, I love doing this work, but I swear the time flies. It flies. And one of the things I want to say is that, I'm going to be front and center on your graduation day, girl. I'm going to be right front and center. I cannot wait.
That is a party.
I cannot wait. And by the way, she's an honors student, y'all. She's just not going to school. She's an honors student and she leads. And Mecole, how did that happen? Did you just step into that role? I know you just stepped in and started leading people. That's what you did.
You know what? I'm going to keep it real. Like, leadership, it seems to follow me. Like, I just wanted to represent the class. I just wanted to be like a representative, but I ended up getting the most votes and being the president. And I was like, oh, cool. So I ended up helping getting our graduation speaker. We're going to have Brian Stevenson, super juiced. So, yeah. And, I'm all about, like you said, leaving a legacy. I don't care if it's to one or two people. I don't care if I've helped one or two people. Like, that's important to me. And you, Miss Thing, said something about what you want to do. I just want you to know that you are doing it. It's not something that you're aspiring to do. You are doing it. Here you are, right? Yes. While you're uplifting other people, you need to be uplifted as well. So.
you. I appreciate you. You guys, I feel so full with this one right here because she is really dear to my heart and she's my little sister. Hey, Mr. Damn, sport yourself.
Hey.
What's up? I'm about to go on another journey. And Andre, I'm really looking forward to it. I'm needed. Ooh, Andre, do I need? We're not gonna talk about that today, though. Okay, you gave me to after my birthday, so I'm really looking forward to it, and I'm gonna need as much help and support that I can possibly get. And I want to encourage others. If you want to join the challenge, join me. Join me on the challenge. You have an opportunity to do this too. But there's work. I'm not gonna kid you. In order to get there, you got to do the work, and for those that are willing to do the work, you will get the results. Mecole, I have a question. How can we support you?
Ooh. That brings up a whole lot of other stuff, right? We're always thinking about how we can support people, but how can I be supported? Goodness, you got me.
I got you.
You got me. You got me. You got me, but it just speaks to what we've been talking about. Like we are always pouring into and thinking about how we can help other people. So we need to take some time to think about like how we can be supporting. You've already been extremely supportive, just being there, just listening. And to be honest, like I said, my goal is to help other people become their best selves. So joining this platform, reaching out to other women, that to me is supporting me. Because, hey, if I said it and you did it, my mission is complete.
There you go. I'm going to say for her, send her all the positive energy that you can. She is our future leader and she is our future. And when you think about her generation, she's of the millennial generation and they make up greater than half of the population today. The average age today is 26.7 years old. And she is a representative of that. And I just want to be here to pour into her and to be a support to her and creating as many connections as I possibly can for her as she's on this journey. And Mecole she's going to achieve her goal. She's well on her way to achieving it and beyond. And I'm just so honored to be on here. So before I got a question. This is my last question. We have less than like 4 minutes before, our time is up. And I really do hold true. I'm going to ask you a question. I do not want you to answer it right now. I just want you to think about it, but I'm going to ask you a question. And the question, don't answer it because I'm gonna let you think about it while I say some stuff, and then you could come back and answer the question. But the question is, if you had one piece of advice that you would want to leave for this platform, and my demographic is anywhere between the ages of 25 and 45. So if you had one piece of advice that you wanted to give them, I want you to think about that. And then I want to say to everybody, I am about to celebrate a monumental year on Monday, and I'm so looking forward to it. But after that time, I've decided to truly shut down from social media. I'm going off the grid because I need to rejuvenate and I need to recharge. And I am going to take this time to truly build with my team. I mean, we will be doing some behind the scenes work and building out for 2022. Some of it's already done, but we'll just be putting the final touches on that and really also just going inward. It's so important for me right now that everything that I come to this platform to do, I also want to be a representative of that. So that means I'm practicing faith, intuition, and tenacity as much as I'm preaching faith, intuition, and tenacity, and practicing it daily and really coming from a place of authenticity and sharing with you when I fall short, because there will be those days when I fall short. But we have an amazing team. I use the word I, but there's no I in team. I couldn't do the work without my amazing team. I want to thank Zyandria Warren. I want to thank Jazz. These are my Fit for the Future girls. And everything I do is all about being fit. There's Ebony Clayton. There is Jasmine Collins. There is Shantae Harding. There is Andress. There's Stanley. There is Jonte Grant. There is Dejan Grant. There's my amazing daughter, my makeup artist, Mecole Tate. I have an entire team behind me. And I hope I didn't leave anybody out, because I don't want to do them any injustice, because they come and they show up for me and they so believe in this platform and the work that we're doing, that it's impacting their lives. We will come back in January even more fierce than we have, but we'll come back a little different. But the whole idea is, I've been coming on now for ever since the pandemic, pouring my heart into you, and I'm not charging for any of this, and I hope it's touching you. And by the emails and testimonies that I get, I'm going to believe that it is, and I'm going to continue to do the work, but we're going to do it differently. I want to encourage you to take some time out to really recharge and really set the destination of where you want to be. Don't talk the talk, be the talk that you want to see. And I want to say, you can have anything that you desire in your heart. And don't you ever let the world tell you that you don't deserve it. You're amazingly and wonderfully made. You're beautiful in every aspect. I don't care if you have braids. I don't care if you have straight hair. I don't care if you wear green or orange. I don't care. You are amazing. That's a lawyer you're talking to. My goal is to impact 50 million women's lives, and I'm going to do it. I promise you, I'm going to do it. And I'm going to do it with your help. And I want to be here to support you on any capacity that I possibly can. And we got some great things happening. We will be taking this platform to South Africa. We are working with Africa to take it to the Cape University is already tied in. We're working with an NGO there. Our goal is to reach over 82,000 something, 84,000 people, but the impression from that is 840. So when I tell you we're business, and it was a dream for me. It just came as a dream. So anyway, I just want to thank you guys for your support. Know that you will see me in 2022. I want to wish everybody prosperity, love, peace, joy, and happiness. And with that said, and also this last thing, Giving Back Tuesday, please donate. No donation is too small. And if you don't, and you know somebody that would love to sponsor or support a platform like mine, give me a ring, DM me, let me know, because we're going to do the work, and we're going to need as many community partners as we possibly can. So with that said, okay, Mecole, now I'm ready for you. And to my cousin Brittany, I love you. I can't wait to see you. Thank you, darling. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Mecole's birthday is in February. Okay. Yes.
Oh, I got my one shot.
No.
I would just say what I've been exhibiting this whole time. Just don't be afraid to be yourself. Be vulnerable. The only way people are going to know how to help you is if you're expressing what you need and where you are.
Oh my
God.
That was a lot. Don't be afraid to be yourself. Don't be afraid to be yourself. You are amazing. Don't you let anybody tell you any differently. You are absolutely amazing. Mecole, I don't want you to hang up, but right now we're going to send everybody some positive energy and vibrations.
Yes.
Happy New Year, everybody. Happy New Year. God
Thanks
bless
everybody for listening.
Thank you, Mecole. You made my day. I'm so excited. Thank you. God bless everybody.